So hey everyone, I hope everybody is hanging in there. Um, I'm doing all right. Last week at work was okay. Work was nice enough to buy us lunch on Friday, which was good. They got us Mediterranean food, which I'm a big fan of. It was nice to have a different change of pace. It worked out really well, I think. Um, let's see. A couple of bits of things. We're planning to take a trip to Portland sometime in March. I wanted to go see the Japanese gardens because I discovered in some of my Google searching that Portland has the largest Japanese garden in the United States. And I'm kind of just hoping to go there with my camera, take a lot of pictures, spend some time there, and just kind of experience some long searched for and hard to find Zen. And I don't know. It's like I don't know how any of it works, but it's like I really think it would be a peaceful, definitely necessary experience for me that I could really use at times like this. I would like to travel to the Pacific Northwest because I've never been there. I also have never, at least it's been a while because most of the time I take a trip is for something like Star Trek Las Vegas or a FurryCon, which, not to say that I don't love these things, but it's also nice to just kind of take an occasional trip where there isn't a specific agenda, where you're not here because of an event. You're here just to see a new place, to experience new things, because I think that's important. I think it's important for people to experience different cultures, different ways of life, different parts of the country. It's like we all have something to offer, and I think it's really important to kind of widen your horizons as much as possible. Um, but I want to see the Portland Japanese Gardens, and of course, we're going to plan to do our usual trip in August to Star Trek Las Vegas, probably MFM as well, and that'll probably be it for this year. But I would like to try going forward to do an occasional trip somewhere else that we haven't been, either in the U.S. or otherwise, just to kind of go someplace and see some things that are just places that we haven't been before, and to visit places that I've never visited, because most of the time the only times we go places, as mentioned, were for cons, and we don't really get to look around and experience the local flavor. So this is kind of what I would like to do with Portland. I want to see the Japanese gardens. I want to check out the Pacific Northwest. I want to see what it's like there. If you're in the Portland area and you would like to say hi or something, shoot me a line and maybe we'll see if we can line something up. I don't really know how complicated I want plans to be, but just even if it's like I don't know, there's probably lots of furries out in Portland, Oregon that might be interested in saying hi, and just a thought. Also, in writing news, things are going all right. I'm working on story 11 of 12 of the werewolf anthology, the Blue Moon anthology. And I haven't talked about it much up to this point just because it's kind of been, I've been working on it. I've been going through the stories and editing it. And it's kind of funny because a lot of it I don't remember. I don't remember what I did. I don't remember the choices that I made. This one that I'm doing now, which sets up, one of the two stories that sets up the second book, it's the most recent one that I wrote because I wrote 11 of the 12 stories, and the last one I made an attempt at, but it didn't go anywhere. So I kind of put it aside. So then I decided, you know what? It's like I got 11 out of 12 stories done. I need to finish this last story and get this out the door. Kind of like with Vanguard, it was 97% finished for the longest time, and I don't really know why I just stopped that close to the end. But all I needed to do with Vanguard was write the last scene. So finally, I just did that, and I wrote it. And here is the proof copy, which still has some things in it I needed to correct, but I should be getting the third proof copy sometime this week, and the release date for that is going to be July 8th, the approximate anniversary of the Roswell UFO crash, for obvious reasons, because it's sort of centered around that. I'll talk more about that as we get closer. Probably do some promotional videos related to the story and, of course, to the Blue Moon anthology, because, of course, I don't. Most of y'all probably know, if anyone's read the first Blue Moon, that it came out a while ago. I want to say 2018, 2018 sounds right. I'm not sure, but it's been quite a while. The initial plan was not for it to be that long between books, but I had a lot of anxiety and a lot of issues, and I just was not, at least at that point, to a phase where I was confident and comfortable enough in my writing to actually trust letting it out into the world. And I'm kind of amazed that the first Blue Moon made it out without devolving me into a ball of anxiety. But it did, and I got to Winterfall, and I got that finished. And I finally just decided that what I needed to do was develop a system, and I needed to focus and work on a project until it's done, get it out the door, finish, get what I had lying around out the door before I start working on other things, and just kind of work on things until they're done. So that is the current operational plan that I'm working on. So far, it seems to be going well. Like I said, right now I'm working on one new project, Wandering Roads, which is the Lucy Kate story. Those of you that might know about Lucy and Kate are two characters that I've had for a long time, and I have put them in like several different stories and probably redone their love story about 4 or 5 times, and I've never, it wasn't until this recent version that I found something that I thought clicked. So, they're going to kind of be in this project, which hopefully will be written this year and then be in the editing phase and the production phase next year. So my hope is to get that out sometime in 2027. I'm working on for 2026's release. Vanguard, as I keep forgetting this camera's reversed. Vanguard, the Blue Moon anthology, hopefully sometime in October-ish. And depending on timing, I want to try and get the last Windfall out sometime during the winter, which earliest possible date means late December. But we'll see if that happens because, I just want Winterfall 2 to be out during winter time. The first Winterfall, of course, was out in July because that was just when I decided to release it because I didn't really want to wait another 7 or 5 months or whatever for that to come out. So, but my plan is, at least with the second one, that's the plan on the timing, just because it seemed to work out well-ish. Right now, I have, of course, Vanguard ready to go already 5 months ahead of time, so it's ready to go for its July release. I am working on the Blue Moon anthology, hopefully for an October release. I'm working with a cover artist on a rather complex idea that I think hopefully will work out as intended. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a staggered reveal about each time period that this anthology is going to cover. So, stay tuned for those announcements, and hopefully I will build up some hype for when I actually get this thing released. I tried to make it as historically accurate as possible. I don't know if I did well on that or not. Some of these things to research are hard to Google or hard to figure out, but I did what I could do to try and make it as close as possible and tell a good story. So, fingers crossed. But, there'll be more on that later. Let's see, what else? Let's see, Winterfall 2 is written. It just needs editing, reviewing, and it may be tweaking. I don't know yet, but it all depends. I want to get it done sometime during the winter, hopefully released during that winter period between 26 and 27. So it may come out in 2026, in which case I'll release 3 titles this year, or if not, it'll come out in early 2027. The plan is I would like to try to see if I can release 3 projects this year. But if not, I'm not going to push it because, but particularly what seems to be working for me lately is do what I can do until it's done, however long that happens to take. So, maybe it's just a little bit of excitement from having Vanguard finished and ready to go 5 months ahead of its release date. But, right now, here we are on Valentine's Day, which is when this is being recorded. So I have, let's see, 8.5 months to get Blue Moon anthology done. I don't anticipate that it will take that long to get it ready for publication. And once that's done, it'll be full speed ahead on Winterfall 2. And that'll be my focus on the B project because I'm kind of alternating days. Today I'm working on the Lucy Kate story. Tomorrow I work on the Blue Moon anthology, and that's kind of how it's been for now. So I've been working on two projects at a time, and so far so good. I have a slot assigned for like outlining, and some time assigned for publication. When I get ready to publish the Blue Man anthology, some of that outline time will go to publishing, and probably not a lot, maybe just an hour of it or something, but just a little bit at a time. And as long as you do it, eventually you get to a place where you're ready. So that's the plan for that. And originally the Blue Moon anthology was designed to sort of, I guess, fill in some gaps. It was intended to explain some lore of the universe, and also to kind of fill in some time between books one and book two, because I knew when I started it was going to take a while before book two was ready. Not as much time as it's been, mind you, but still, that being said, hopefully it'll hold any Blue Moon fans over until I get around to actually finishing the outline for the second book and getting it out. I had a long time ago finished the outline and gotten 3/4 of the way through it before it did. I ran into some issues that just, at least at the time, it seemed to be unsalvageable. So I kind of went back to the drawing board a few times. And I think that at this point, some of the elements that have come out in the later attempts, I think putting it all together, it should work. I think that at least, at this point anyway, I'm at the point where I have gotten over the whole need to push everything off the table and start fresh every time I run into a snag. So it's just like, if you run into a problem, what can we do to fix it? And so we'll see how this all goes, because there's a lot of things that I know that I want to happen in 2 and 3, and of course things have changed a lot in the intervening periods, but we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of messages that I'm trying to send with my work, and I mean, most of it is kind of like I hope subtle, but it's a lot of things about being open-minded and working with people and such, and I mean, it's that kind of philosophy, that working together, it's better than othering people and such. But anyway, in video news, I know I am doing a vlog, which of course I always am. I have some plans to do some editing, so not a lot of fresh recording today, but I did have a couple of ideas I wrote down for pending videos that will fill some of those empty weeks that we sometimes have, because I ran out of backlog or buffer. I think buffer is probably the right word for something. So there'll be some weeks where there'll be announcements instead of missing weeks. But that is the plan for today. So today will probably be a comparatively light day because I have a couple of reviews to edit and get up, and then we will see where we go from there. What else is there? Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Books I'm reading. I'm reading Remnant's Hope by Hugo Jackson. So far, that's been pretty good. Tales from the Guild, Blood and Water. I think I'm 4 or 5 stories into that. I think Ty Fox's story is the next one I have to go. Moondust, which has been a good book so far. Looking forward to seeing where it goes. Legends and Lattes, which has been really, really good. It's been a strong, kind of chill fantasy world where they're making a coffee shop, and it's been fun. So I've been really enjoying that. Off the Beaten Path by Rukius, which is part of the Red Lantern series, I think, and it's also been really stellar. I do need to get into reading more of that because, not the least of which because I want to finish it and give it a proper review, but also because I want to read some of the other books in the series, which I have 4 of them now, and I need to get some more, but one thing at a time. I'm reading A New Life at the Facility, which so far is just it's been a challenge, I guess, a little bit to read that one because there's just a lot of things that I would say are not quite up to the usual expectations. There's a lot of decisions that I kind of, as a fellow writer, kind of question as far as whether they were necessary. and I'll get into that more when I do the formal review. But so far, it's just I'm hoping that the ending pulls it out. That the ending really surprises me, because that would go a long way to making it much more impressive. But we'll see, because a good ending usually requires a lot of skillfully arranged setup. And so far, there's just a lot of choices that I don't feel the author took full advantage of. It's like, if you're going to do this, it has to be for a purpose. If you're going to set things up a certain way, then it really needs to reflect the necessity of that choice. And there's a lot of decisions that I kind of feel in this case are just things that came out maybe as they were writing that seemed like a good idea, and it's just like, what does that really change? What does that really add to the story? Is my kind of thought process. But also, the last one I'm reading is Induction, which so far has been really good. I'm looking forward to reading the rest of it, and I think that based on the subtitle, it suggests that there's going to be another one. So that, if so, I'm looking forward to that. Um, Whether or not I'll read the rest of the Corpse books is a question mark at this time. But Jay from Transcendent Fiction Publishing has been suggesting that it's worth it, so we will see. Um, as far as gaming, I'm still kind of focusing a lot on Trails into Daybreak 2, Trails in the Sky. I need to. A new chapter of Under Heaven came out on the Patreon, which I am part of, so I need to check some more of that out. Let's see, I did a little bit more of Void Dreaming, which was also fun. I do highly recommend that as well. I do need to get, I got Final Fantasy XIV online working on my PC, so I need to play some more of that. Of course, STO as always, and ESO. Well, I do need to play more ESO. I kind of get into spurts with ESO. I'll play it for a while, and then I just don't. But it's kind of tricky, especially these days with like so many online MMORPGs that there's only so much time in the day, so you can only do so much. But I really kind of want to break it up between the four that I kind of really pay attention to, which is Fallout 76, STO, ESO, and Final Fantasy XIV Online. I've been playing, I tried Star Wars, but it just, I don't know, it kind of annoys me that it wouldn't let me, or at least I couldn't figure out how to pick my lightsaber color or something. I don't know. Anyway, maybe there's a way to do it at some point, but I haven't gotten the right equipment to do it. I don't know. I haven't played it for a while, but we'll see what happens. That's about it for now. Hopefully we should have a new Patreon story coming out in about 2 weeks. I don't remember if I've actually set up the post or not. I guess I'll have to check on that. And hopefully we will have some new releases coming out soon. I still need to figure out if I'm doing a story for Pride Month or not. I don't know if I have anything that will fit at this time, or if I have the inclination or time to develop something. If I have, I still have some time yet, but we'll see. I would like to, because especially now, under the current environment, Pride is more important than ever. But one way or another, there'll be some Pride stuff, art and such coming out from me, commissions and such. But whether or not there's a story, it really just depends on if I have time and or the inspiration to do it. But for now, that's about all I have for the moment, and I'll catch you all in a couple weeks. If you like post-apocalyptic fiction, polar bears, and adventure, check out my newest release, Winterfall, available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. And don't forget about my werewolf novel, Blue Moon.
Thanks for watching, and if you liked it, click the subscribe button and leave a comment below. You can also find me on Twitter and a few other places on the web, or support me via Patreon or Ko-fi. Zebra hugs!